a lot of it, you asked why are people so, enamored with him. And I think it's a little bit because he's kind of been through the whole thing. They found him. He was kind of one of the guys they found. And that's kind of the guy they put up on the flag. He's one of our guys. But you're right. He has struggled with the shot, and a lot of it coincides with that contract. He's a good defensive player, but very one-dimensional on the offensive side of the court. We'll get back into some more of that conversation. Jason McIntyre joining us now from The Big Lead here on the Sports Bash. Now, Jay, you joined us back in the summertime when you had written that you thought LeBron James had two destinations, L.A. and Philadelphia. Here we are about 6-7 months later. Has that changed for you at all?
No, of course not. I think they're totally in the mix. I mean, how can you rule them out at this point, right? They look terrific. I mean, the only knock I would say, and I'm sure you'll agree, is the Markelle Fultz situation. This team really lacks going forward a big-time shooter. J.J. Redick a couple nights ago, last night, had the game-winning shot there and missed. He's getting up there in age. I know Philly fans love them some Covington, but I'm going to need a little more than that. And Fultz, we know the shooting is an issue. We know Ben Simmons can't shoot, and LeBron needs to be surrounded with shooters. But other than that, I mean, come on, what's not to love? Embiid, Simmons, and LeBron. That is possibly that would be the best three-man, trio in the league? Who would be better than that?
It would be tough to argue, what other teams would do because everybody's trying to do something to do what the Warriors do. My contention is you can't out-Warriors the Warriors, so you need to do something completely different. Those three would be doing something completely different.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Now the other thing is you always worry about the Embiid factor. He's now playing back-to-backs, but without him, I don't think they're attractive at all. And, again, Redick is on a one-year deal, so there is a lot of wiggle room. They have a lot of salary cap freedom. I would say it's essentially down to Lakers, number one, Sixers, number two. I think Cleveland has a good chance to retain him. I don't know. I'm in the minority here. Maybe you'll agree. The Houston Rockets, to me, don't make any sense whatsoever for LeBron.
Yeah, I think he's a bad fit on that team, although some of us thought that Chris Paul was a little clunky on that team, and it's worked.
I was in that group.
Right?
Dude, trust me. I would say 3 days a week, people fill up my Twitter mentions with, you thought the Rockets would suck. And I'm like, geez, man, I got to say, I'm surprised. Now, let me say this. Mike D'Antoni has won one playoff series in the last decade. Okay? Here's a shock for you, and I was looking this up. The Houston Rockets, I believe, are 22nd in the NBA in assists per game. This is not those Steve Nash teams.
Yeah.
This is an ISO-heavy, get the ball, let James Harden or Chris Paul go one-on-one. And I got to ask you, do you see that working in the playoffs when the possessions matter more, defense is a lot tighter than in the regular season? I'm not 1,000% sold that this team is a lot to get to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, Jason McIntyre's with us. Cleveland, to me, they look like the Cleveland teams when LeBron was there the first time. Like, just a couple of guys, and LeBron's that good. Is that fair?
Oh, that's harsh. Who's Boobie Gibson? Who's Larry Hughes?
Playing the role of Larry Hughes. I mean, maybe I'm saying they don't have Kyrie, and they're not the teams that he won championships with. This is a much lesser version of some of the teams he's been on in Cleveland. Now, the ones he was on originally, yeah, those teams were really bad, but these teams are closer to those teams than the ones he had with Kyrie. There's no Kyrie here.
Well, let's just say this. We haven't seen him with Kevin Love to go with the Clarkson, Nance, Hill, Rodney Hood grouping. But here's a funny thing. These guys they acquired, okay? I like Clarkson a lot. I watched him out here in L.A. plenty. I like Nance. Okay, Rodney Hood. What have those guys ever won in their career? When was the last time they played in a big spot?
Never.
Here's a great nugget for you. Rodney Hood, he went to Duke. Everybody's like, oh, they go to the Final Four every year. Rodney Hood was on that team that lost to Mercer in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. So Rodney Hood's never played a clutch minute in his life.
Yeah.
Okay, he was basically chained to the bench in Utah when they were playing the Clippers in that series, I believe, last year. So this is a group we'll see. But, the one real thing that I think could keep LeBron in Cleveland is if they say, hey, Spurs, we got Kevin Love, we got that Nets pick. Kawhi's demanding a trade. We'll take Kawhi. We'll give you Kevin Love and the Nets pick.
Well,
and if Kawhi, remember, Kawhi's going to want that Supermax, that $215 million contract. He's been hurt a lot, but you know the Cavs will take him in a heartbeat.
No.
He's probably the best two-way player in the league.
Sure. Now, you mentioned that Nets pick, and the way that I look, if I'm LeBron, okay, it's hard to jump in this guy's head, but it's fun to speculate. Okay, he's got what he has now with Hood and Clarkson and Larry Nance and these guys. He has the Nets pick, okay, so they can get a young player. Or I can jump right into a ready-made team at 33 years old. Do I pick a Philly ready-made team or a Lakers ready-made team? You wonder if those two teams are ready-made and he says, I jump right in, what are the other factors for this guy? Now, that is what the hard part is to figure out. What is his next intention? Does he want to continue to win championships, or is he more on the lifestyle kick?
Well, it's interesting because obviously everybody wants to win championships, but you just wonder about what phase in his career is he in. Like, does he if he doesn't leave Cleveland now, like, what's the market going to be for a 34-year-old LeBron next summer after 16 straight years, no injuries? Like, to me, this is his time to move with another superstar. I don't see. You remember how everybody loved him for going back to Cleveland?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good guy. He's returning home to save Cleveland.
Hey, I was one of those guys who couldn't stand the decision, but respected that he fixed it.
Okay. So what's going to happen if he leaves again? Are all the people who loved him for going back and fixing it, as you said, are they going to suddenly hate him again and be like, oh, that guy's such a jerk. He's a ring chaser.
He won them the championship, right? He won them a title.
That's the logic I love. Hey, mission accomplished, right? On to the next one. And I love that. Remember, Michael Jordan tried to come back in his, I believe, 15th year and failed miserably with the Wizards. Couldn't get him to the playoffs. If LeBron can go to this lottery Lakers team, bring Paul George with him, and say, get to the finals, do you know what kind of an accomplishment that would be? Incredible. And one thing people keep forgetting, if the Warriors win it again this year, next year will be their fifth straight year with the group going to the finals? Michael Jordan never did that. Magic never did that. Bird never did that. It's almost impossible to take the same team to the finals 5 times in a row. You're worn down. So I think the Warriors are going to be susceptible next year. That's why I still have the Lakers as the leader for LeBron. But Philly, listen, if Philly can pull off an upset in the first round and then win another in the second round, I don't see why the Sixers aren't totally in play for LeBron.
All right, and that's why, they got the billboards up. You got Ben Simmons in the photos with the tweet the other night at the All-Star break, June 30th, midnight. So much speculation. He's looking at schools on the main line. I got to imagine you're not just looking at schools in Philly with they have to be at least on the list. If you're making that minimum of an effort, they've got to at least be somewhere on the list.
This is interesting. Okay, so remember when somebody, I forget who it was, some Yahoo at ESPN said that the Warriors and LeBron would listen. He denied that the next day, right? Like the next day came out, it was like, nope. He hasn't denied Philly. He hasn't denied the Lake. He's not shut down any of those. So to me, that's telling. He definitely would not go to the Warriors. And that's why I don't believe the Houston stuff. Okay? You can't, at 33 years old, go join a 60-win Rockets team and expect people to respect you. That's like a Charles Barkley ring chasing in your mid-30s. Durant made the move at 27 going to the Warriors. To me, that's totally different. And I know people are going to say, oh, what, because of the age? Yeah, because of the age. I mean, certainly.
I'll tell you, Jay, I was a huge Durant fan, and I just have,
oh, no.
I'm not the same Durant fan that I used to be. I can tell you that much.
Oh. Wait, you don't like Kevin Durant 2.0, who's mouthy, who's picking fights with everyone? You don't like that guy?
I might like his character if he was a WWE wrestler, but I just hated it. I hated what he did. I just, oh, man. But LeBron, I think, is at such a stage right now at 33 where I've been to the finals every year carrying people. I could put my feet up during the regular season with a couple of young pups like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid getting me through regular seasons, and then, boom, I can turn it on with these guys come May, June, and we make our runs together.
My only fear, okay, given Embiid's history, let's say Embiid goes down next December. LeBron's on the team. Are Fultz, Ben Simmons, LeBron, Saric, are they definitely winning the East?
Oh, they're better than what they got now, don't you think?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay.
Right?
Fair enough. I worry about Embiid, but I'll say this. If he's listening, dude, he might be a top 10 player in the NBA right now. I mean, he's certainly going to get MVP votes. He's been incredible.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Jason McIntyre, the big lead. So I think, too, the one thing that you would wonder, because there's so much talk about all these teams tanking right now. We got like 9 of them with 18 wins. It's ridiculous. There's like nobody's trying right now. If LeBron picked the Sixers, if that would just lend more credence to, hey, look, the Sixers did it. They got these 2 guys, and they got LeBron.
Dude, tanking works. Did we not just see the Houston Astros tank their way to a World Series? I mean, come on. I got to be honest. I'm surprised more NFL teams don't tank. I mean, my Jets. I've been a Jets fan forever. I watched them go into this season. Everybody's thinking, oh, they're not going to win a game. They got the worst roster. They're going to win 1 game. And they go out and win like 5 or 6 games.
Right.
And now they're not the number 1 pick, right? They got like the 6th pick, and now they got to wait for other guys to get a quarterback. Tanking works. I don't want to hear that it doesn't.
It's this weird perception. It's the weird perception. And I was on board with the Sixers from day one. I had no problem. But the weird perception of that 38 wins is somehow significantly more successful than 18 wins. I mean, yeah, sure, numerically, but what did I really accomplish? People say you wasted 3 years with the Sixers. Well, I wasted 20 before being the 8th seed or the 9th seed. I didn't get anything out of that either. So I've been on board, and which is why 2 years ago when I said this team was 1-30, I said, you watch. This Joel Embiid, they're going to get another pick. They're going to have cap space. This team's going to be attracted to a guy like LeBron James, and I got laughed out of the joint.
And remember, you're talking about a Sixers team who was Michael Carter-Williams a lottery pick, right? He was definitely in the lottery, and they ended up trading him, and he was a Rookie of the Year, and they had Nerlens Noel. So it's the process is taking longer because of 2 big whiffs and injuries to Embiid and Simmons. Otherwise, I mean, shucks, this team could have been on fire last year.
Well, the injury thing really set them back. The injury to Embiid to miss a guy for 2 seasons, that really stunted your growth.
No, 100%, yeah. And what's your take on Fultz? Should he come back at all this season, or should he just sit it out and not risk anything?
We have so much discussion.
You got to see him. You got to get Fultz out there for a little bit. If he can flash and put up, in 10 games, he's averaging 19 a game and getting to the bucket, making shots. That, to me, is an attractive sweetener for LeBron James.
Yeah, and this is what I do know. The people around him, the Sixers, they are still wowed when they watch him in practice, but he's cleared. There's some reason he's not out there, and that's the million-dollar question. Why is he not out there? He's in practice, and these coaches will say some of the things he can do. You got to see this guy, and you get these little videos. But if he can play, there's a lot of people who are split on that. Well, you can't split him up now. You're bringing in Ersan Ilyasova today. You're bringing in Bellinelli last week, so you can still keep adding pieces to this. We'll see how it all plays out. Jason McIntyre is on Twitter at Jason McIntyre, the big lead, and check out his piece on his thoughts on why LeBron to Philly maybe makes the most sense. Thanks, pal.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. Jason McIntyre, everybody here. Good conversation on the